Hey everybody, welcome back to our video. I'm going to show you a first impression, application, and general demo of the new Fenty Beauty I've said this so many times. Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear Foundation. And this is quite new to me. I have yet to put it on my face, so I thought we'd do it together for the very first time. This is one of my try-on videos where essentially I'm trying things on for the very first time. This will not be a X amount of hours, checking throughout the day type of video. If you are looking for that, there's plenty of great vids out here on YouTube and just floating around the internet. Feel free to check those out. This is partially for me to document what this looked like in application when I get to doing a review for this foundation over on my blog, which likely will happen, so I can link back to this video. And also, since I'm going to do that anyways, I might as well put it up here just so you guys can enjoy it as well. If you have similar skin tone to myself, I find there hasn't been quite as many people with kind of a similar complexion to myself, so this again might be helpful for you. In terms of skin type, I am combination skin. I think at this current point in time, I'm more normal. Nothing is super crazy. Everybody is like under control on my face. I am quite acne prone, although in the last couple of months everything has been quite well. The center zones of my face, I do have larger pores, and I have some ice pick scarring along the inner sides of my cheeks. Currently there's a little bit of clogged pore situation going on around the lower half of my face, but no active breakouts or anything that stands out very much. On my face, all I have at the moment is some lip balm, which is the Pout Mud from GLAMGLOW, just so I don't look super ghostly once we get some foundation on. I have, of course, just some simple brows on, again, just to make sure I don't turn out like a ghost after you put on foundation. You know how that look goes. I also do have, after my basic cleansing, the IT Cosmetics Miracle Water 3-in-1 Glow Tonic on my skin, as well as the IT Cosmetics Secret Sauce Anti-Aging Moisturizer, a bit of that all over my face. So currently I don't feel super dry, I don't feel super greasy. I think I'm just like moist and ready to go. So let's check out this foundation. I do want to talk briefly about my color situation with this foundation. Fenty does have 50 foundation shades in both this formula, the new hydrating, as well as the original. However, I feel like I don't fall squarely in between any of those shades. I currently have the color in 120, which after many trips to the store, I decided was probably my best color match. 120 is labeled as a neutral foundation with for fair skin, so neutral undertone for fair skin. And then I also feel like I have a smidge of the 130 coloring, which is for fair skin with olive undertone. So this neutral one might be a smidge too peach, but then 130, which is the olive undertone, is just a bit too warm. It would be ironic that I couldn't find a color with 50 foundation color options out there, but who knows. So I haven't tried this out yet. Again, this is 120. I will have a list of my foundation or my closest foundation color matches and other brands and formulations linked in a blog post, which you guys who've been watching me for a while all know that exists out there. So I have two brushes. Here is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Flat Top Buffing Foundation Brush number 6, but any flat top kabuki will do. I also have the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge Damp and ready to go. I feel like I want to go in with the flat top first, see how that works out, but generally speaking, I do like applying with a damp beauty blender type of sponge. Alright, 120, here we go. On my skin or on my hand right now, it does look quite peach, which I don't know will be an issue or not. Just so you know, my face does tend to be a smidge darker than the rest of my natural skin coloring, because of things like the sun and also hyperpigmentation, acne scarring, stuff like that. So, okay, I think color-wise, this actually might be a fairly decent color. It looks a smidge light right now, but I think that's because my face got a little tanner during the summer season. So I'm gonna put another little bit on this side of my face. Yeah, when you see it like this, I think it might be okay. I am window side, so this side is a little brighter, but I will show you in a minute, and I will put up a before and after as well. So blend it in really easily with the flat top. And if I get really close, it does pick up flakies a little bit. So the parts of my skin that just needs a bit more exfoliation did grab onto the foundation slightly. Not terribly, but slightly. I'll have to deal with that a bit later just to smooth around those areas. I wonder if going in with a sponge just lightens it up. Yeah, I have a little bit of flakiness around this side of my face. I'll give you a closer look after I've gotten the whole face on. So I'm gonna do forehead, and it does look quite light on my forehead. My forehead is the darkest kind of part of my face. So, all right, forehead is on. I don't find the coverage to be very high, which for me is not an issue. I believe this is labeled as a medium coverage foundation that is hydrating. I wouldn't say this is greasy or super moist. Like, you will need to lay down a good moisturizer and prep your skin, primer if you do have very dry skin. But this doesn't dry down with a powdery finish or anything like that. Yeah, I like the finish a lot. But with the sponge, you get a lot less coverage. I actually think the color might work out. 120 looks pretty good once blended. I would say this is probably in my books, this would be a light medium foundation, which is usually what I would prefer to wear for day to day. So I like that part for sure. Okay, so we are on. Pretty much everything is gone from my hand. I just did one pump. I'm just gonna touch up a little bit around the chin area. Yeah, I think this color works out okay. It pumps out a little differently, and it looks slightly different in the tube, but once on my skin, I think the color is fine. I wouldn't need to go into 130. I think 130 would have been too olive, and seems okay with my neck right now. Okay, I'm gonna get you in a little closer till you can see the skin. Okay, so I think this is as close as my lens will allow me to go without going cray cray. So this side of my face, I do have a bit of, I don't want to say patchiness, but it's picking up on some dry areas or flaky areas that I haven't exfoliated super well. You may or may not be able to see it in the mirror, but I can definitely see it with a mirror just close up to my face. So this is an area I would probably have to just smooth over again, or just take this little patch off, re-moisturize a little better or something, and then put the foundation back on. It does apply a little bit better and smoother, and of course picks up less flakies with the Real Techniques Complexion sponge. Alright, wrapping up this video, some quick thoughts. I think this would be a nice everyday foundation on first impression. I'm still not crazy about the way that this side turned out a little patchy. This side is a little better, but I did blend this side in with a, what is this? A Real Techniques foundation sponge. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say all throughout this entire video. So I do prefer the look of this side versus the side solely done with a flat top kabuki brush. I don't feel like this is super buildable on the skin. I just tried applying a second layer after I tried to fix up this patchy side. Didn't go too well. This is, I would say, in you know, is Nature a light medium coverage foundation, which I think would be great for most people for day to day if you don't want or need super full coverage. The color is actually quite good. I'm pleased with the color. I think I will stay in 120. I've moved back a bit so you can see, you know, my face with the foundation against my chest, which is more of my like born with it natural skin color. So I think the match is quite good. I don't notice any dramatic lines of demarcation, but also this is not a super head coverage, so you probably wouldn't see any slight shifting or mismatch in color either. So again, this is 120 in the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear Foundation. I would say this dries to a matter side of a satin finish. A satin finish, I would think about something like the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I would call satin. Glowy, I would call something like the Josie Marin Argan Oil Foundation. I think that's what it's called. Or the MAC Face and Body. That's what I would call glowy or luminous. So this is quite in between, but on the matter side of a satin finish. First impression application, the way it wears, the way it feels and moves on my skin, really reminds me of the La Mer, the Soft Fluid Longwear Foundation, which I also have. So these feel very similar on the skin. I think this is okay over any texture issues, as long as you exfoliate and prep and prime really well. I have not worn any primer in this application video, just to remind you. It doesn't look great over my pores, but it doesn't look horrible either. I would say something that looked great over texture and my pores just on its own solo would be the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish. So I'm still thinking about that, and I was thinking if Fenty doesn't work out, I'm going to go back to the Pat McGrath because that really went on the skin beautifully. This is not awful, and I'm still holding out a formal opinion on this, so check back for likely a foundation review later on the blog. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you later and have a wonderful day. Until next time. Bye!